Oh, hello folks. Let's say you are looking for an EV that has MPV-like space and practicality. Well, I think the answer lies in the GAC Aion Y+. I've been driving it for a few days, and in today's video, I'm going to give you a review of which through 6 things I learned about it. My name is Caricarzsmi. You are watching caricarz.com. Okay folks, the first thing I learned about the GAC Aion Y+ is that it looks quite weird. Fortunately not from the rear end, because at the rear it actually looks quite good. I like this single strip LED taillight motif going on. It's quite trendy. I think a lot of other EVs are using this motif now, but nonetheless, from the rear, the GAC Aion Y+ doesn't look that bad. And the same applies with its side profile, despite the fact that it is actually quite a huge car. It's over 4.5 meters long in fact. But here's where you see that it is actually a crossover SUV because of its rather sizable ground clearance. SUV touches like this wheel arch cladding going on, and before you ask me, the wheels are quite nice also. In fact, these are 18-inch alloy wheels, and you only get the 18-inch size with the premium variant. Now here comes the weirdness. It actually starts with the A-pillar, because here's where you see that the windscreen angle is actually very steep, but nothing tops up the weirdness with the way the GAC Aion Y+ looks up front, because, well, I don't know how else to put it. Up front, the GAC Aion Y+ has looks that only a mother could love. So a lot of the weirdness up front stems from this. GAC calls this entire assembly Angel Wings LED headlights. Well, I can see the wing element going on here, but perhaps it's a little bit too over the top. But what's important here is the fact that it's a full LED unit. It's quite bright, it's very functional, and it works brilliantly at night. With the way it looks though, I'm gonna leave it to you folks to decide whether if it's attractive or not. Okay, weird looks aside, let's move on to fact number 2, and this is a big one, literally and figuratively speaking, because the GAC Aion Y+ is the king of space. And I like to start with the boot because, bonus, there's a powered tailgate that grants you easier access to a very cavernous 504-litre boot space. Now, how big is that? Massive. And I've loaded all my luggage just to show you that, because you could cram large size luggage, 2 medium size luggage, and 1 small size cabin luggage, all standing in the standard boot space. Mind you, I'm doing all this without dropping the second row seats. And if you do that, you get an even more cavernous 1,200 litres of space. In short, be it a long travel vacation or the annual visits to IKEA, the GAC Aion Y+ can swallow anything you want to load it up with. Of course folks, boot space isn't the only party trick here when it comes to space with the GAC Aion Y+. In fact, just take a look at how much room and space I have here in the second row seats. Dare I say it, this is the largest, roomiest second row passenger space I've seen in any EV crossover, regardless of size and segment. Wow. In fact, look how much leg room I have, look how much headroom I have, look how much movement room I have. It really is roomy. And here's another bonus: with this much space, you could even fold the front row seats to form yourselves a personal bed or 2. Alright, moving on to the next fact, the GAC Aion Y+ is loaded with a lot of comfort and convenient tech. And I'm not just talking about basics like keyless entry and ignition. Check out this massive infotainment touchscreen. It gives me access to control a dual zone automatic climate control unit with dedicated rear passenger vent. And it also comes, in this premium variant specifically, with built-in seat ventilation for the front row. This is a godsend, especially in our climate. Apart from which, I also like to highlight some of the conveniences present in this car that includes USB charging ports for the front and rear, Apple CarPlay connectivity, a 12-volt socket, and check this out. Next to my cup holders, I have this perfect cutout for my wireless charging pad in the premium variant. And should you be done with charging your phone wirelessly, there's even a slot for you to put it nicely here. In other words, it's very neat and very practical, and it gets better. That massive touchscreen I mentioned earlier doesn't just offer you Apple CarPlay, it gets matched up with a higher-end 6-speaker Bon Jovi branded audio system in the premium variants. I personally have never heard of the sound system brand myself, but it sounds pretty alright after you do a bit of EQ tuning. But here's the bonus. In the premium variant, all of that comes smashed with a multi-color cabin ambient lighting suite with music mode. Moving on to fact number 5, and it revolves around range and charging with the GAC Aion Y+, and I believe many of you will agree when I say it's a little bit meh, especially with charging. That's because the 63.2 kWh LFP battery comes with an OBC that accepts 6.6 kW AC or 80 kW DC. Now, the DC charging speed is acceptable, but the challenge today is finding a DC charger in the first place and paying for it. It's a bit pricey. As for the AC charging, there's no hiding the fact that it is very, very slow. In fact, it took me a while to charge this car up on the AC charging box in our office, and this is something that many prospects should be warned about. Should you be able to get around the charging challenges, the WLTP range for this EV crossover is actually not too bad. In fact, GAC touts a figure of about 430 kilometers. And now we move on to the next fact. The GAC Aion Y+ is actually a very, very smooth and very, very comfortable thing to drive. Okay, the power outputs from its front-mounted e-motor driving its front wheels are pretty paltry for an EV. In fact, it only makes 205 horsepower and 225 Nm of torque, but it's far from underpowered. It will still do 0 to 100 km/h in about 8.5 seconds, which isn't bad. There are 4 drive modes to choose from: Eco, Normal, Sport, and iPedal. Obviously, iPedal is the gimmicky name for single pedal mode driving, and I'll be upfront, the GAC Aion Y+ feels best in iPedal mode because it really feels like proper EV here, and you get to do some regen braking, single pedal driving, proper hypermiling stuff. Now, what's also important to note here is that the GAC Aion Y+, given the size, weight, and power output I just gave, it's not sporty at all. If you want something sporty and faster, this is not it. It's also not that agile because of its softness and comfort-focused chassis, but that is not a deal breaker if you ask me. Otherwise, my only other gripe about the way the GAC Aion Y+ drives is that at highway speeds, there's a bit of noticeable tire roar, but I suspect if you swap out from the standard Chinese tires it's equipped with, it will be much better and much quieter. Okay, last but not least, the final fact I want to tell you about the GAC Aion Y+, it's actually quite a safe car because it comes fully loaded with a level 2 ADAS package in this premium variant. Now, that adds things like adaptive cruise control with stop-go function, traffic jam assist, forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking, lane keeping assist, and more. On top of which, there's even a 360-degree camera system in here that just makes maneuvering this car all the more easier. More so given the fact that when you see that my visibility up front is actually quite terrible because of this massive 2 foot long dashboard, but otherwise having all these assists just helps makes this car a lot safer to be in and a lot easier to drive for the daily. And that's basically everything I can tell you about the GAC Aion Y+ in premium variant form as tested, and it is currently on sale at a relatively attractive price of 135,800 ringgit. There is also a standard variant slotted below that's priced at 119,800 ringgit, but it makes do with lesser toys than what the premium variant as tested offers. Obviously, if you want to maximize your experience in one of these, it has to be the premium variants. By the way, said prices include an 8-year 160,000 km vehicle warranty plus a separate 8-year or 200,000 km EV battery, EV motor, and EV control unit warranty. Now, I don't know about you, but those prices with that kind of after-sales promises seems very tempting, especially if you have a family. And I think this GAC Aion Y+, if you look past its weird looks, it's quite a gem if you ask me. That's what I think about it. I want to know what you think about the GAC Aion Y+, folks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and as always, visit caricarzcom/news for more.